Just like it did in its 1954 case of Brown versus the Board of Education, the Supreme Court of the United States appears poised to correct its own mistake. 58 years after their decision in Plessy versus Ferguson unjustly denied black human beings their equal justice under the law, the court overturned their grievous error. And now, just 49 years after their decision that unjustly denied preborn human beings their equal protection under the law, news broke late Monday night that a draft copy of Justice Samuel Alito's majority opinion to overturn Roe v. Wade had been leaked to the left-wing news site Politico, and demonstrating precisely how unsettled this judicially imposed policy has been for nearly half a century. Everyone on the left seemed to lose all control of their bodily functions.
It is ma'am!
Those that popped 3 Valium at once and were able to calm down enough to tweet shared some pretty precious pearls of wisdom. Representative Don Beyer of Virginia. He's ticked because Justices Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett assured the Senate Judiciary Committee and the American people that Roe v. Wade was established precedent under oath. Yeah, it was, Mr. Beyer. Just like Dred Scott was established precedent. The key is that justices are people, and people are fallible. They make mistakes, and some precedents are wrong. And when they're wrong, righteous people overturn them. Strategists like David Axelrod and other progressive voices have declared that because of this, Democrats are now in the driver's seat for the midterm elections. This could be the biggest mistake the right ever made, they say. 5 minutes after reading that tweet, the average American filled up their gas tank at $6 a gallon and sold a kidney so they could buy some groceries. What are the odds that stuff might be on their mind in the voting booth as well? And for the record, if something is right, you do it, even if it may cost you votes. Then there's this beauty. A post-Roe world that has not resolved the myriad reasons women seek abortion is irresponsible governance. Yes, it reminds me of the wise counsel that you heard at the end of World War II. Well, until we decide what to do with all these Jewish refugees, it's really irresponsible governance to stop gassing all the Jews. Political commentator Fred Minicham was beside himself, wondering if we were living in biblical times, asking, what kind of nation has the right to tell a woman what she can do with her own body? Gee, I don't know, Fred, other than like every other civilized country in the history of the world that has always put limits on what men and women can do with their bodies in order to protect the lives and property of other people. Meanwhile, other anonymous progressive voices are leaving very little to the imagination, calling for the persecution of Christians and for those who oppose abortion to be shot, of taking up arms and going to war. These comments brought to you by those that believe the events of January 6th were a serious threat to the peace and security of Americans. And speaking of democracy, it bears repeating. Roe v. Wade explicitly took the power out of the hands of the people and dictated to the entire country. Overturning it would put the power back in the hands of the people. And you all are claiming that this puts a stake through the heart of our democracy? Democracy, which means rule by the people?
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Then was the plethora.
Would you say I have a plethora?
Yes, the plethora of leftists angry about this violation of women's rights. What are they talking about? What is this woman? I think they mean maybe birthing bodies? I get being upset, but man, why all the transphobia? But bringing home the gold in the tone-deaf Olympics has to be this dude named Ed Kamen. Check out this masterpiece. Every woman, and really every man with a heart and soul, needs to vote blue this fall, or millions of lives will be destroyed by this SCOTUS. Millions of lives lost? Dude.